Good evening. Hello, Vietnam. Live from LZ Bunker. This is the Veterans Live Show. I'm Ronnie Embris. I served with the 101st Airborne Division in Vietnam in 1967 and 1968. We have a very special guest tonight. It's our first Marine on the program. And don't forget, we need some Air Force guys, some Navy guys, Coast Guards, special guys. Okay, something that makes this very special tonight. Paul and I grew up together from about 8 years old to graduating high school. I went my way, he went his way, and we both served our country. I'm so happy to have him back in the box here. Okay, we'll bring Paul in just a moment into the bunker, but first we're going to do our Vietnam War timeline segment. Okay, this date in the Vietnam War, October 28th, 1963, Vietnamese coup plotter General Tran Van Don met Ambassador Henry Lodge and said that Conan, through the proper channels, did everything possible to avoid American involvement in the coup with RVN officers. The number one song back on October 28th, 1963 was Sugar Shack. Remember that one? Sugar Shack, or whatever. Okay, October 28th, 1964. United States T-28 airplanes flown by Thai pilots bombed several areas with U.S. personnel participated in the raids, but the U.S. denied their involvement. Interesting how both things are denied through political ways, right? Okay. The number one song, October 28th, 1964, was Baby Love by the Supremes, and I will not sing any of that. October 28th, 1965, Viet Cong commandos damaged and destroyed a number of small vessels along the south coast of the South China Sea and Quang Tri province. October 28th, 1965, the number one song was Yesterday by the Beatles. Okay. Beginning October 28th, 1973, and ending in February 74, Campaign 972 was a Pavan offensive which effectively added to the Vietnam Treaty, ending the Laotian Civil War. The number one song on October 28, 1973 was That Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips. What's a Pip? Okay, now, here comes our photo segment that you all sent in to us, and don't forget, send them in anytime to Vietnam Veterans Photo Club, and we'll get your photographs on the air. Okay, here, this is sent in from Chuck Wagner. The last three Americans left on White Virgin Mountain, New Barra, next to Firebase Buttons in the spring of 1971. Left to right, you got Chuck Wagner over there with a can of Pepsi. And then we have Ralph Hindle here with a can of Schlitz, it looks like. And we have Mr. Steve Foster also with a nice little cigarillo there and a can of Schlitz. Good for you guys. Okay, this is sent in from Carlos Fernandez. Great picture about two young kids that were homeless and hungry. He brought them food and clothing and found them a place to sleep. Carlos, thank you very much. So much was said about how we mistreated the Vietnamese population. Never happened in my book. Okay, Herman Woodrow Hughes, Old Glory, flying from fantail of a PCF swift boat off the coast of Vietnam in '68. Taken by Herman Hughes, a passenger en route from Cu Viet to Da Nang. Thank you, Herman, for that. Looking good. Okay, next one here. Next photo is from Frank Moses Carrillo, Sr., January 1969. Looks like that guy got a Screaming Eagle patch on his shoulder there on the left. Thank you very much. January 1969, 19-year-old Sergeant Frank M. Carrillo, Sr., kneeling on patrol in I Corps, Vietnam. Nice group of guys there, ready to go for action. Any more photos? Another one from Harold Parker here. Last Marine birthday ball in Bien Hoa, Vietnam at the Franz Blau Apartments, November 10th, 74. Left to right, Corporal Ricky Davis Leroy Huff, General Peters, Sergeant General Peter. Oh, Leroy Huff was counsel for General Peters. Sergeant Ronald Duffy, Lance Corporal, Harold Parker, Corporal, and Michael Bertini, unknown. That's great how they got their dress uniforms out there. That was pretty interesting. Looking good, guys. Okay. Now we're going to bring our special guest in, Paul F. Blose. How you doing there, Paul?
Hanging in there, Ron. Doing okay.
Good. All right.
Good to see you.
I can hear you. I can hear you good enough. Got a little fuzzy there, but we're going to be okay. So tell us where you were stationed there, Paul, in Vietnam, and when you got there.
I got there in the end of April '69. I was stationed originally in Anwar, Dodge City, the Arizona Territory, and we were there for quite a while. Well, we were there for maybe 3 weeks before we started Operation Pipestone Canyon.
Okay, what was Pipestone Canyon about?
All right, well, Pipestone Canyon was a sweep of the 3 sections of Dodge City, and then a chopper ride over to Ganoy Island, because Ganoy Island at the time was the NVA R&R Center, and it was a heck of a time. When we got onto when we started the sweep in Dodge City, it was a sweep, and it took us, the entire op was 51 days.
Wow.
3 weeks on Ganoy Island, and the rest of the time was in Dodge City. The first 2 rivers of Dodge, yeah.
This was west of Da Nang? West of Da Nang, huh?
Yeah, west of Da Nang.
Okay. And it says you did some daytime patrols and nighttime ambushes.
All the time, yeah.
All right.
But let me tell you about Pipestone Canyon. Pipestone Canyon was a heck of an operation. Right outside of the battalion area, we started hitting booby traps. We started getting mortared, and this is not even a day into it. Not even an hour and a half into it. And the first day, we hit some, I would say, minor enemy fights that we hit later on. But each day got more intense. I would say that at the end of the first week, it was hot, very hot. It was like 100 and 120, 119, and that would be in the shade. So I mean, you just take one step and
Paul, let me interrupt you. I thought you meant hot, like a lot of action, but you said hot was the temperature.
Yeah. Well, it was both. Okay. But this particular day, it was super hot. Okay. Right, and then the mortars started coming in. Then the automatic fire started coming in. Then the AK started cracking off, and we were pinned down in this rice paddy, and the gooks were set up on the higher ground, like I would say a hill, like a small mound, 10 feet high, and we were like behind the rice paddy dike, and there was, as far as the eye could see, there was spread out across on this elevated plane, and it was bad news. They had us pinned down. We were returning fire. We had an Ontos, the rocket fire on a Jeep, and we were shooting our rockets at different sections of it. and then RPGs from different sections of their positions hit the Ontos, and boom, it was gone. It, like in a puff of smoke. Unbelievable.
What kind of fire? What kind of fire support did you get? What kind of fire support did you get?
All right, our skipper Adams, he was a pilot, and he wanted to go on the ground, so he got on the hook, and he called in the Marine Corps jets, and they come swooping down. They did napalm. They did their what do you call it, 20 millimeter cannons.
Yeah.
They did a whole bunch of stuff, and after they had completely decimated the entire place, about 3 or 4 minutes after they left, the goose come back out of their holes, and it was like nothing touched them. It was bad news. We did it again. We called in the air support again. By this time, tanks came up, and our tanks started blowing holes where the main gun positions were and where the RPGs were coming from. Make a long story short, this went on all day. Make a long story short, about maybe 5 o'clock in the evening, they broke. They got out of their holes and they started running. So
okay, we're gonna break here for 1 second. We're gonna break and go to Operation Durham Peak.
All right, Operation Durham Peak. All right, that was later on. That was in August, and August '69, and the NVA and VC had captured some French doctors and missionaries, and they brought them into the ashore. We followed them, went through the ashore, maybe 12, 13 clicks till the base of the Laotian border mountains, and I was walking point at the time. I came across this booby trap. It was a law strapped to a blown up stump with a tripwire going across, tied to a tree. And I'm going up, and I'm going up and down with my eyes, and I see the wire. And I said, holy shit. I go up to the wire, I follow it, and it's hooked up to a daisy chain. All right. The wire goes to the law, and then it goes into where this bunker complex is. And the bunker complex, as far as I could see, was empty. So I go back and I report. I held up everybody. And I was ordered to go check out the bunker complex. So as soon as I start walking in, I see all of these tripwires. I see little tits sticking out of the ground. So I get down on my hands and knees with a knife, and I'm seeing these tripwires. I'm seeing all of this stuff. It was like a minefield. But I went in a while. There was nobody in the first bunker, nobody in the second bunker, but inside the bunkers was all booby trapped also. So I guess they wanted to make sure they got you if you went in there. But the bunkers that were up against the mountain itself, I went in to one, and it was booby trapped, but not too bad. And then I went into the very last one, and there was booby traps all over, crisscross. You could see the tits bouncing betties, pressure release devices, everything. But the strange thing was I went in a little ways until I couldn't really do it with my eyesight, and I couldn't see, like tripwires or anything. But what I did see was a crack in the mountain, and what I mean is I saw a light inside the mountain, not inside the bunker, but inside the mountain, very faint. And I went back and I reported it. And then I didn't think anything of it. There was this big incline that the NVA had made to go to the top, like climb, not climb, but walk. You could actually walk the trail up to the very top. It was very steep, but you could do it. So I was pointing again, and I went up. And each time I found a booby trap, I tell the guy, all right, stay here, and tell the next guy to stay. And we made it up that way. Going up, we found like four tripwires. So we finally get to the top, and all of the platoons are up there that were chopped, because half of us climbed up, walked and climbed. The other were chopped up, and they had lost, I think, 2 choppers. They shot them down with RPGs. The enemy, full choppers with. I think both of them were from Echo Company. Bad news. We went about, well, the rest of the op, I would say another 10 days worth. We went in.
Okay. Let me move on. Let's move on to let's move on to Two Cow Bridge.
Oh, okay. Two Cow Bridge.
In the river there with their
when we finished,
breathing tubes.
Yeah, when we finished with Operation Pipestone Canyon, our break was to go to Two Cow Bridge, and we were there for 2-3 weeks before we started Operation. And what happened? All right, Durham Peak, it was just a regular bridge patrol, and what you did was you threw blocks of C4 with blasting caps into the river, and you blew up any big things that were floating down the river. The small things and reeds, any reeds that you saw, you shot. And we killed a lot of VC that way, because back there around Da Nang, it was mostly VC. There was some NVA, but mostly VC.
So they were using reeds as breathing tubes to go underneath the water and go past the bridge.
Yeah, and unbelievable.
All right, let's move on to Lieutenant Screwy Louie.
Screwy Louie, okay. Screwy Louie came.
What was his real name?
Right. All right, he came when we were at Two Cow Bridge.
Well, what was his real name? What was his real name?
His name was Lieutenant Connors.
Okay.
Lieutenant Connors was an asshole as far as I'm concerned. Lieutenant Brooks was a hero. He was my first lieutenant. Lieutenant Brooks, he knew how to lead men, and Connors was killed. Anyway, at one time with Lieutenant Connors, he sent 3 ambushes out at night. One in one direction, one in another direction. And then he waited right until almost nightfall. And he sent Bravo, my platoon, out in the same direction as the first squad, Alpha. And just as it was getting dark, and I mean right at dusk, squad leader at the time, Gary, he says, everybody hit the deck. And it's a good thing he said it in English, because somebody says, is that you, Gary? And I'm looking around. When I hit the deck, the first thing I saw was a claymore in my face. And they said, holy shit. No, don't tell me. I was getting ready to say goodbye to the world. But we were there like 5 minutes, and it was back and forth with Alpha's squad leader and our squad leader, saying, "How the fuck can you do this?" Blah blah blah. So we went back, and we just jumped on the Screwy Louie. Said, "How did you almost got us killed, you son of a gun?" And he goes, "Oh," he said, "You can't go out now." I said, "We're not going out. Well, you're going to get us killed. It's dark already." So we stayed in that night. When the next day, Alpha comes in and gives them a piece of their mind. Skipper Adams hears it, and he says to the guy, "If you can't lead these people right, tell me, and I'll send you back the way you came from." The next time was about maybe 4 days later, and we're in this field. We went out on a PPP. We set up our home base, and we started sending 2 squads out at a time, daytime patrols. We come back, and the Gooks had probably just followed us back to wherever, to the base camp. All of a sudden, they started shooting. They started throwing mortars in on us. And the Screwy Louie gets on the hook, and he calls in the sortie mission, calls it in right on top of us. I think we had a med of like 4 guys from friendly fire, and we're over there, and he wouldn't call it off, the son of a gun. We're over there, stop it, you're hitting us. He got so afraid and nervous. We had dug holes, and the radio man was in his hole, and the Louis, he didn't have time to dig his hole. He was busy doing whatever he was doing, and he threw the radio man out of his hole and jumped in the radio man's hole and had the radio man on top of him. Unbelievable.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, man, you got some memory for all that stuff, Paul. I appreciate it very much.
Oh man.
And well, so after that, did you go to China Beach at all?
Yes, I went to Stack Arms twice. Okay, after Durham Peak, they sent us to Stack Arms at China Beach, right outside of Da Nang. That was wild.
We had a little break, a little break. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like going back to the field after that, though, right?
Yeah, it felt good. Yeah.
Yeah, and, but I mean, you don't really like to go back to the field after that. You know what I mean?
No.
After you had the country right? Yeah. I had one of those down in Wang Tao. That was quite an interesting little resort. It was like crazy. It was like you're at the beach somewhere, and anywhere in the world, palm trees, women, beer, whiskey, music, bands at night, the whole deal. It was like a different. You're fighting a war, and then you get on a helicopter, a little plane, you fly somewhere else, and for 3 days you're like, it was crazy. But well, thank you so much, Paul. We appreciate it very much. God bless you, and thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah, but we have to tune off now.
You're off?
No, yeah, we're off now. Thank you very much, Paul.
Anyway, can I finish talking about Pipestone Canyon?
Go ahead.
All right, Pipestone Canyon. Once we finished the 2 rivers of Dodge City, the last river was too deep and too far to wade across, so we got chopped. But before we got chopped, the B-52s came in, and they completely.
Well, I guess we're having some kind of problem here. All right, we're gonna call it quits. Thank you very much for listening tonight. Sorry for the transmission problems, but that stuff happens. At least there's radio work to call in the artillery, right? Okay. Hopefully we'll see you next week, and don't forget to All right. Thanks again for checking us out. Oh, thank you, Marie Kennerman. Appreciate that comment.
We had Rock Korean Marie.
And don't forget to send your photographs in to Vietnam Veterans Photo Club. Thank you, William Watson, 101st West 67, 68 July 69. First 320th. Great thanks to all our great heroes, best on earth. Thank you. I served at the first 320th in the 82nd back in 67. Go artillery. Next, Kilo 19. I believe the Atos is a small track vehicle with 6 recoilless rifles on it. I think you're right, sir. That's what he expressed. Thank you. Okay, Kilo M48 with the heart. I don't know what that means, but looks good to me. That's when I was born in 1948. Mike Brown, to all of us that served, Americans should understand that sacrifice, and then they would defend our country, and we all did. Amen. Thank you, Mike. David Robinson Sr. Civilians could never understand what the Vietnam War was like. You're not kidding. You were the second of what, David? Second in your family to serve or get married or whatever. Thank you for your picture. Kilo 19 again. Yep, I definitely have to change my shorts after being face to face with a claymore. Yeah, that's yeah. Amen to that. That's a good point. Well, we just want to thank you again for watching, and hope to see you next week. Don't forget to send your photographs in, and if you want to be on the show, drop a line at Vietnam Veterans Photo Club, top of the page. You'll see it on Facebook. Good night. God bless you, and welcome home.